Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope everybody's having a great day. Guys, we're going to do another episode with us. Waves Log, appreciate you stopping by, my brother. I hope everybody's doing well. Guys, we are got a lot on the plate, got a lot on the agenda, a lot of things we want to talk about that just, kind of rubbing us wrong today. But not necessarily wrong, maybe right. You know what I'm saying? But on the serious side, had a great weekend. I apologize that I've been away for a few days. If you didn't see my tweets or anything like that, my wife and I went to on a getaway. It was our 32nd anniversary. We've been married for 32 years, so we went on a little getaway, 4 or 5 day. My day's been good, buddy. Um, but we went on a little excursion. Hot Springs, North Carolina. Highly recommend Hot Springs, North Carolina. If you've never been there and you have someone you love, I shouldn't say that. It's a great getaway, especially if you're married or have a significant other or anything like that. I strongly recommend it. The springs are amazing. Yeah, no doubt, dude. The hot springs are amazing. The cottages, it's just a very, very small town, and we thoroughly enjoyed our long weekend at Hot Springs, North Carolina. If you're near there, it's a must see, must do. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's see. Next thing on the just covering everything. I can't remember. No. Other than that, it's been a great weekend. Unfortunately, we got rain and stuff today here. I know if you're yeah, no worries, man. Appreciate you, brother. Stop back by and check in with us sometime. But thanks for stopping by, man. I do appreciate that. I really appreciate when folks come by and see me frequently and over and get in trouble. Mean. I used to be one. But anyway, yeah, so we are like I said, um got a lot on our plate that we want to talk about, guys. Um that we are going to my dog's wrestling in the floor behind me. That's okay. I love my puppies, y'all know that. Um yeah, damn it, I went to the wrong place. But no, seriously, there's a lot going on. Some news we're going to rehash out from last week that we just didn't get a chance to get to, and we're going to talk about it. Got some video clips. I hope you don't hear that. I'm just pulling it up so I can see what's going down. But yeah, we got some video clips. We got some stuff we're going to talk about. And all right, hush now. Doggies are just one of my doggies is just being a dog. But anyway, but yeah, man, I hope, like I said, I hope y'all had a great weekend. I hope the weather's better for y'all than it is for me. We got rain. Um, but since I have a small garden out, I'm very thankful for the rain. Thank the good Lord for that. Like I said, hope that you're all having blessed time and blessed life as the day will get to. Like I said, it's just a great day, guys. Just a great day. So let's get into start getting in here to some of the topics. I got to pull my notes up. Y'all know me. I got notes. And my notes go. I got too many things. So first thing I want to talk about is the terrorism strike, cyber attack that occurred last night or day before yesterday on JBS Meats. No, yeah, getting old. I know y'all know this. Getting old. We have got to do something in this nation about a cyber attacks. Now, being an IT guy, I know that there's a lot of people out there that want to get into us, but we went through a cyber attack last month with the gas prices, and now my gas is through the roof. I'm concerned about the price of meat future. However, I saw some local economists report this morning that said the meat prices should not be affected, shouldn't be, shouldn't be too bad. So we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Anyway, just pray about that, and hopefully we don't get juiced by the meat prices. I guess that's my concern. And hopefully it'll all work out, and hopefully we as a nation will dadgum figure out this stuff with cybersecurity, and I think that needs to be a top priority of our government. Dog is growling because the other dogs are wrestling. So anyway, that's kind of my take on that. I got a lot of theories and a lot of thoughts on it. You know, I don't know as much about it. It's still early in the ball game. If it's the same one, I think they said it's the same one. They know it come from Russia. You know, seems like everything either comes from Russia or China that really messes with us and such. So, you know, we'll see, man. We'll see what's going down there. And see how things are going. Got to turn my I forgot to turn on one of my monitors and chat bot thing so I can make sure I know when people are making comments and stuff. Anyway, he's old and he's disgruntled. That's what we'll say. And we'll get onto some disgruntled later. But on the big scheme of things, let's talk about this. I talked about it last week a little bit. I'm going to talk about it again because it's just, I don't understand it. I don't think it's the best thing for our nation, but I have to get my headphones going here because I'm fixing to bring a video. Out in the nation's capital, there is fixing to be a lot. There's going to be a stir up, in my opinion, and it's already starting to brew just a little bit. I'm gonna bring a video up in the background, so y'all bear with me here. Do have it. Thank you. Over this critical race theory, I don't understand the value. I think that it will just. I think it will separate us. So I have a video here. First of all, I had to figure out what critical race theory was. I didn't know. So I found this little video, about a 5-minute video that's going to explain critical race theory. So Pager University, the one who created this. So let me get over that screen so we can watch it together and we can talk about critical race theory.
Race theory? I'm guessing you probably have.
So
it has already insinuated itself into many institutions and is making rapid progress into others. If it takes hold, it will completely change the very nature of America and the way you live. Critical race theory holds that the most important thing about you is your race.
So
the color of your skin.
Everything that I've researched, everything I've looked up, that is the key thing, that everything about this critical race theory is based on the color of your skin. And we've worked for many, many years in our nation to prevent that, guys. Now, I'm not, if you know my family and if you check out some of my Instagram, of all people, or like many others, there's no way that the importance of race, and I can attest to that by my experiences that I've ever lived in. So let's continue this here.
Again, that's who you are. Not your behavior, not your values, not your environment.
So under that assumption that it's not your behavior, not your assumption, to me, that is saying that no matter what I do, no matter how I act, because of my skin, color of my skin, I'm associated with a particular behavior from other people. So I got more thoughts on this here in just a minute.
In critical race theory, if you are a member of a minoritized racial group, their term, not mine, you are a victim of a system that is rigged against you, a system that doesn't want you to succeed. On the other hand, if your race is privileged, you're an exploiter, whether you intend to.
So the way I interpret that and the way I see that is if you are Caucasian, specifically Caucasian male, that you are an exploiter. You're going to hear him talk about what an exploiter is here in a minute. And because I'm a Caucasian male, I I'm superior, and that's my mentality. That just because of the color of my skin, that's what I think. I will argue that's anything but the truth.
To be or not. Critical race theory begins from the assumption that racism occurs in all interactions. To see how this works, consider this thought experiment. Imagine you own a shop and two customers enter at the same time, one white and one black. Who do you help first? If you help the black person first, critical race theory would say you did so because you don't trust black people to be left alone in your store. That's racist. If you help the white person first instead, critical race theory would say you did so because you think blacks are second-class citizens. That's racist too.
So essentially, in that scenario, there's no right or wrong. There's no right answer.
That's critical race theory. It can find racism in anything, even if it has to read your mind to do it. Critical race theory is a uniquely American invention. Brewed up at Harvard Law School in the 70s, now part of the academic and media mainstream, it is also uniquely.
So, although we're just now hearing this and it's actually in the mainstream, there is this assumption. Take him away from the other dog. But there is this assumption that it just now started. This was created in the 70s at Harvard Law School. It's just
un-American because it rejects the core tenets of the American classically liberal Judeo-Christian value system. It turns the bedrock American idea upside down. Here it is in the words of Richard Delgado.
Now, the bedrock American idea that we all, he'll get to this. I'm fixing to jump ahead, so
Gene Stefanchik, two leading proponents. Critical race theory questions the very foundations of the liberal order, including equality theory, legal reasoning, Enlightenment rationalism, and the neutral principles of constitutional law. It does this because critical race theory proponents assume racism is present everywhere and always, and they look for it critically.
Now, so here's what I will say. I don't know that I would argue that racism isn't prevalent. I think that each of us react and interact with people based on our experiences. That's what I'll say. I will say that there are people who have the same color skin that I do, that I distrust more than anybody.
Until they find it. And they always find it. It has to be there because that's how the imperial European powers and then America set things up. Here, as in all dangerous academic theories, there is a kernel of truth. Human beings were not preoccupied with race until the 16th century, when Europeans began to explore and then colonize other parts of the world. Drawing distinctions between the races reached its peak in the 19th century with the widespread use of slave labor in North and South America. No one denies this. But since then, the Western world, and most especially America, has spent a lot of time, money, and blood breaking free of its racist past. It's been a rocky road for sure, but great progress has been made. Critical race theory says all this progress is a mirage. Racism never died, never even faded a little bit. It just hid itself better. Critical race theory, therefore, is not a continuation of the civil rights movement. It is, in fact, a repudiation of it. To critical race theorists, Martin Luther King was both wrong and naive.
So that is a key factor. That this theory, it insinuates or it leads you to believe that everything that Martin Luther King fought for and all of his trials and his struggles were wrong. Now think about that, folks.
White Americans can never judge blacks by the content of their character. They can only judge them, always unfavorably, consciously or unconsciously, by the color of their skin.
Wrong.
Ironically, not since the Aryan obsession in Germany in the 1930s and 1940s, or South African apartheid in the second half of the 20th century, has the social movement been so obsessed with race. Critical race theory is then, in a very real sense, a counter-American revolution. But that's a positive, not a negative to those who subscribe to the theory. The American experiment was given a 400-year tryout, and it doesn't work. So let's scrap it. That's what they believe. Is that what you believe? I'm going to guess that most of you don't. So, how do we stop critical race theory before it infects the brains of too many decent Americans, especially young
So
people, and turns us into something
my
we have
take on
never
it here,
been
guys,
and
I'm
shouldn't
drop
ever
this
want to
volume
be?
down just a little bit.
The answer is simple.
My take on it
Refuse
is
to
this:
accept it.
is that
Don't be intimidated.
I
by
don't
the
want
heads
my
I
children,
wear
and thank
fail
God I
to
don't have
use
children
logic
of
this
young
self-destructive,
school age.
America-hating,
Um,
anti-reality idea. Don't be bullied into thinking that you're racist when you know you're not, or
I
that
don't
you're a
want them to
victim
learn
when
this
you know
information because I
you're
think
not.
it's flawed. I think it's wrong.
Defend yourself
We'll just stay there.
while you still can. I'm James Lindsay, founder of New Discourses for Prager University.
Okay, so critical race theory. Now I've got one more video I'm going to show you about critical race theory, but I firmly believe and I firmly think that it's not a good process or thing to be teaching students. I just don't. I don't feel that we're right. I don't think that it would be beneficial to um, the education of our children. Now, I just remembered, and I was putting my notes together, and I forgot. I got one more critical race theory video that some of our senators, and actually one of my senators, was talking about on Capitol Hill, and I'm going to get it pulled up here. So bear with me, guys.
Own a business, you're going
to see the commercials. But so this was a some, and she's not my senator. I shouldn't say that. This is someone that I routinely disagree with. I don't think that she her values are different than mine. However, I think that in this meeting, in this news conference, her and these other senators were spot on. So this is a Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. And now, if you were with me last week, you know my thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is her and some other senators speaking about the critical race theory. And like I said, normally I disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene quite a bit, but in this case, I think that she is spot on. So let's watch just 2 minutes.
I'm honored to be here with my colleagues who stand with me along with most Americans against racism. I think the question everyone needs to ask themselves is who stood in line before they were born and got to pick the color of their skin? No one. The very idea that we should divide any of us, especially our children, based on our skin color is wrong. It's racist, it's immoral, and that tears people apart. Teachers should never, ever put down a child or make them feel bad about themselves based on any characteristic about their body, their skin color, what kind of hair they have, what their face looks like, tall or short, how good they are at something. Teachers are supposed to bring our kids together and build them up, not tear them apart based on their skin color or what they're telling them about their skin color. That's awful. Any mom and dad knows, and I'm really happy I am a mom. That's the greatest blessing in my life. You know that when your children go to school and they play with the other kids on the playground, they're just playing games. They're not picking their friends based on the color of their skin. At least that's not the America that I know. And I don't know anyone that lives in that kind of America. The critical race theory, 1619, this is a project that is destroying our country. These are the things that we overcame in the civil rights era, and I'm so proud that we did. I'm thankful for my colleagues that are introducing strong legislation against the critical race theory. I ask everyone to join together, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and I don't cares, to stand together against racism of all kinds, of every kind of racism, and stand against this kind of racism, the critical race theory. Thank you very much.
Now, like I said, guys, I don't often and frequently deal with, agree with Marjorie. But in this case, I think she was spot on. So, anyway, that's kind of my take on that's kind of my take on critical race theory. I think it's wrong. I do not believe that because of the color of our skin gives us superiority on another individual. That's how I feel, guys. And hopefully, if you don't agree or disagree with me, if you agree or disagree, leave a comment. Let me know. The other thing too is, if you're watching this later down the road, feel free to hit that subscribe button on YouTube or like on Facebook or whatever the case. So, critical race theory. Now, I don't know if any of y'all saw this. Okay. I don't know if any of y'all saw this, but I got to pull the video because I just remembered. I was trying to remember this. I know I want to bring something else. In New York City, I don't know if it's New York City. In New York, there is a school that is teaching essentially sex education and such to two first graders, 6 years of age. This really got my quota going yesterday, guys. And I was watching this on one of the late night shows last night, and I was appalled. I was floored. So I'm going to show you a video. Don't know if I'll show the whole thing, but I'm going to show you some of the video. And hang on, let me find the right one. So I want to show this video. Before I show this video, if you are young, please, please, please get parents' permission to watch this. This is a little bit mature content. I don't normally show mature content onto my page, but I'm going to show this video. And it bothers me. It bothers me tremendously that they're showing this to 6-year-old children. Let's hope this is the right video. I just pulled it up on the right side. So this is the video.
Pass it, Squeaks. Whoa, watch it. You almost hit me in the pee-pee.
This is from Open Secrets, who's produced
What's
this.
so funny, you two?
He said pee-pee.
Listen to this.
Do you notice that when you say pee-pee, you giggle, but when you say penis, you say it in a serious voice?
I never noticed that before.
Some children and adults feel uncomfortable when they talk about their private parts, so they make up cute or funny names for them.
What's one for a girl's private parts?
Vajayjay! But what does Scoops mean when he says vajayjay?
He means vulva.
That's right, Kayla. It's important to use the proper words for our private parts.
Why?
Because our private parts are
6-year-olds,
just as
guys.
amazing
They're
as our
showing this
hearts,
to 6-year-olds.
lungs, brains, or any other of our amazing body parts.
But our hearts pump blood, our lungs breathe, and our brains think.
And the more I
All our
watch this, the
private
angrier I
parts
got
do
last night.
Pee! That's not entirely true, Scoops. It is true that a person pees or urinates through a hole called the urethra in the penis.
Does everyone have a urethra?
They do. It can be harder to see, but girls have a tiny hole in the front of the vulva where urine comes out from their urethra. Urination
Are y'all
is actually
appalled
very
yet?
important. It helps
Is
us get
anybody
rid of
else
waste,
appalled out here?
stuff
Oh
our
my
body
gosh.
doesn't need.
Hey, how come my penis gets big sometimes and points up in the air?
That's called an erection.
Sometimes I touch my penis because it feels good.
Sometimes, when I'm in my bath or when Mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too.
I guess I can't tolerate it anymore. I can't take anymore. It infuriates me. It disgusts me, I guess is the right term. That is what they're showing in New York to 6-year-old children in first grade. First grade. America, we got to wake up. We need to look at what we're doing and wake the heck up. It is crazy, people. It is crazy. Now, here's the icing on the cake. In these videos, they were not asking parents' permission. The parents had no clue their children will be showed that video. No clue their children were going to be shown that video. It's just, I don't understand it. I don't understand what we think about in education sometimes. I don't understand what we think about in politics sometimes. I don't understand it. If you're watching me from New York, please, please, please address your congressman centers that this information was being shared. I don't think it's appropriate. And of one other fact, this was being shown in a private school where people were paying $50,000 a year for their children to go to. Anyway, gotta get off my high horse on that because I've got a lot of stuff I want to cover today, and I don't even know if we're gonna get through it all. The next one. Now listen, as I'm gonna bring up topics on my show that bother me. Do not agree. I respect your views. I've fought for this country for 21 years so you could have those views. I did not fight. I did not promise you I would agree with your views, like you're not going to agree with my views. Tuesday, Joe Biden, our president, declared June was LGBTQ plus Pride. In his statement and in the proclamation, it said, a time of hope, progress, and promise for the lesbians, gays, bisexual, transgender, and queer Americans. First of all, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about it now. It's fixing to get real. Folks, my Bible speaks about a lot of things. My concern is we have trouble having celebrations for our veterans. We have trouble celebrating things that have been done for our country. And we're making the month of June an LGBTQ. I disagree with it, Joe Biden. I disagree with you, Joe Biden. And I'm not going to go into that because I don't want it to come off like I'm trying to slander or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that. I just don't believe it. I just don't think it's appropriate. And on the same token, on the first day of June, the Florida governor signed this transgender athlete bill into law. So I had to look this up because I guess I am naive when it comes to the transgender laws and all that. But basically, the Florida governor joined many other states in signing this bill that student athletes have to participate in the sport that they were biologically born. I think that, or I would hope that in high school, this is not that big of an issue. I assume and presume that it is. But here's my take on it. I do not think that it is fair, physically fair, for men or boys to compete in ladies' events. So I do agree with that. Now, here's the thing about it. Or my thought was, does the NCAA have a policy on that? And they do. They do, and they have some very strict guidelines about protecting that. And those include they have to have a lot of therapy, not mental therapy, but like hormone therapy and all that prior to participating in the other genders' events. I don't want to beat that drum too long. I just found it ironic that the Florida governor, who is by a very big Donald Trump supporter, y'all know that, I think, and he, it's almost to me like he was throwing in the face of President Biden to on the day that President Biden made his legislative policy. So anyway, I digress from that. Let's move on to the next one. So last week when I was having audio problems, I was getting on to my soapbox about the recommended, the nominee for the director of the ATF. So just because we're going to get back on that because I think the audio had preventing me from elaborating on my personal feelings and thoughts. And that's what this show's about. So we're going to talk about it. And in the near future, we're going to allow you to come in and be able to share your personal thoughts. So this guy went through, he went through a lot of questions and a lot of questioning last week. I got 2 clips that are kind of lengthy that we're going to talk about and we're going to watch. But the first thing I want to is to review Chipman, David Chipman. The David Chipman is the nominee. And to this point in time, the best of my knowledge, he has not been confirmed. He will get confirmed, my opinion, which is a very scary thought. I got to put my shoe back on, this lid off. Pulled it off because I was crossing my legs, which is a very scary thought that the Senate is that he will be confirmed as the ATF director. Here's what I will say to you, folks, is that I am an avid hunter. I am a avid believer that I have the right to bear arms. Do I think that some people take it a little bit too far? Absolutely. We could talk about that and discuss that at length and ad nauseum. But the ATF director or nominee, we haven't had an ATF director in charge of the organization who's supposed to police that part of our nation in a very long time. So we do need an ATF director. I don't know that this is the right guy. I don't think it's the right guy. My opinion, he is not the right guy. However, he is the one being nominated. He was nominated. He will probably be confirmed by the Senate sooner rather than later. But who is David Chipman? And I'm going to refer to him as Chipman from this point forward. No disrespect. It's just easier. Well, he spent 25 years as an agent for the alcohol, tobacco, firearm. From all the research I could do, he did a pretty good job. He has got a lot of accolades that were given to him. However, folks, there are some things in his background that concern me deeply. The first one is, give you a little more background. He partook he was involved in the Waco siege in many years ago. When asked a question about that Waco siege, he asserted that the Branch Davidians had shot down a Texas Air National Guard helicopter. Folks, that never happened. There is no record of that. There is nothing I can find about an Air National Guard helicopter being shot down by anybody at that time. So that concerns me that he has the ability to come up with that story on his own. That concerns me. After his time with the Senate, after his time with the ATF, after 25 years of the ATF, he then became a spokesman for gun control. He's part of a big gun control lobbyist group. Here or there, that's his right. That's what he chose to do. So, but what concerns me about Mr. Chipman is some of the answers he gave last week. So I'm going to play a video, and this is a key video. I think I've got to cue it up here. Second. I don't want to hear sound right now. I want to skip but last week he was on part of the Judiciary Committee's investigation. So this is Tom Cotton. What I'm going to show you is the interview with Tom Cotton. Tom Cotton is a representative. He's very aggressive when it comes to gun control, and I think that he has good intentions. I do think Senator Cotton has very good intention. So let's watch this exchange here, and then we'll talk about what concerns me, or I may stop it as we go through. Get you over to the live scene. Sorry.
I want to turn to a second matter now, Mr. Chipman. You have called for an assault weapons ban. I have a simple question for you. What is an assault weapon?
Senator, an assault weapon would be, in the context of the question you asked, what Congress defines it as.
So you're asking us to ban assault weapons. We have to write.
So Senator Cotton is going to talk about this, but I find that I'm going to pause right here just a quick minute because the senator just asked him, what is an assault weapon? His response is, well, assault weapons, whatever you define it as. That's the role of the ATF is to make that determination.
Legislation, can you tell me what is an assault weapon? How would you define it if you were the head of the ATF? How have you defined it over the last several years as your role as a gun control advocate?
Senator, if I'm confirmed as ATF director, my recollection is the only
Listen,
process by which ATF has weighed in is that I know there's a Demand Letter 3 program, which requires multiple reports, multiple sale reports on the southwestern border. And ATF in that program has defined an assault rifle as any semi-automatic.
okay, now listen. He did not say assault weapon. He just said assault
Rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine above the caliber of .22, which would include a .223, which is, largely the AR-15 round.
So you believe that every weapon that takes a detachable magazine that can take a .22 round or 5.56 in military parlance should be defined as an assault weapon?
Let me clarify. What I believe I just said is any semi-automatic rifle.
Okay, any semi-automatic rifle.
What?
That's the definition.
Okay, so now let me pause right here. A couple things. This is the guy who is going to take over the ATF. The company or the organization responsible for enforcing gun law, primarily. They have other, but that's one of their big three pillars. Yeah, y'all heard that, right? The next thing I want to point out is this dude slouches. That irritates me. If somebody came in when I was hiring back in the days when I hired and fired people, if he came in and sat in my chair like that, I probably wouldn't hire him because he slouched. Let's go back here just a little bit.
Rifle.
What?
That's the definition. A detachable magazine that takes a 5.56 or .22 round should be defined as an assault weapon.
Senator, you asked me if ATF had used this term, and I was sharing with you my knowledge of a program in which ATF has defined this term. And it is in the Demand Letter 3 program, and that rifle is a semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine with a round greater than a .22 caliber. And in those cases, firearms dealers on the southwest border are required to make a multiple sale report to ATF.
So now listen, he didn't say they were banned. Listen to what he said. We'll rewind this just a little bit. He didn't say they were banned. What he said was that a firearms dealer who sells that type of weapon must report it, a double report to the ATF. Listen now. Listen to what he said.
Firearms dealers on the southwest border are required to make a multiple sale report to ATF.
I'm amazed that might be the definition of assault weapon. That would basically cover every single modern sporting rifle in America today. Let me put it this way. If I wanted to buy an assault weapon and I walked into Walmart or Cabela's or some other firearm dealers and I looked up on the wall where they were labeling their weapons, would there be a label on the wall for assault weapon?
I don't believe, Senator, and thank you for this question, that the firearms industry has used the term assault rifle in their marketing since there was a ban on it. It was after that they changed their use of the term assault rifle to the modern sporting rifle.
Well, so I've been in Walmart's.
So we're talking terminology. What he just said, we're talking terminology. We're not talking anything about the weapon. And the Senator's going to get to this.
I've been in Cabela's, and I've seen that you can find sections for pistols or handguns or for shotguns or for rifles because those are actual kinds of firearms. I think our exchange here illustrates that there really is no such thing as an assault weapon. That is a term that was manufactured by liberal lawyers and pollsters in Washington to try to scare the American people into believing that the government should confiscate weapons that are wildly popular for millions of Americans to defend themselves and their families and their homes.
My opinion, folks, Senator, you got it right. The Senator Cotton from Arkansas, it just elaborated on what the moral of the story. Guys, if you go to the ATF webpage, and I spent this morning largely doing this, if you go to the ATF webpage and look up assault weapon, the definition of assault weapon, it's not there. Folks, it's not there. I couldn't find it. If anybody out there can find that definition on assault weapon on the ATF webpage, please email it to me, or please send it to me in our Discord or something like that. Okay. Now, same Senate hearing. Marsha Blackburn, the great state of
dealt with have been trustworthy.
Oh, I got the wrong button. So, Marsha Blackburn from the great state of Tennessee. Y'all don't know I live in Tennessee. From the great state of Tennessee. Also had the opportunity to question Mr. Chipman. And I'm just playing this because I don't think he's the right answer. So here's what he said to Marsha Black.
Influence your work at the ATF. And one of the things that I hear from Tennesseans is they want the ATF to be going after criminals, not after law-abiding gun owners.
She is absolutely right.
Execute that.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you also for spending the time on the phone with me earlier so we could meet. I think the perfect example of how Tennesseans should expect ATF to respond is how we responded to your city that was bombed on Christmas.
That would be Nashville. One of the biggest cities. Oh, wait, the state capital, Nashville, sir.
We will always be there in the worst hours to determine who committed a crime and bring them to justice if we can. We will always be focused on criminals. That's what we do.
And I hope you appreciate why people are very concerned about your stance on the Second Amendment and are very concerned that you would be going after law-abiding gun owners. So let me ask you this. In the House Judiciary Committee hearing on 2019, you said, and I'm quoting you, simply reinstating the 90s era ban on assault weapons is not enough. So I want you to tell me what is enough in relation to this statement.
Thank you for the question. In that hearing, I was commenting on the fact that I had the opportunity to enforce the National Firearms Act for 24 years. That was an act that balanced the right of individuals to possess those firearms, but had a regulatory structure that I found kept them out of the hands of criminals, which is the ultimate goal of all Americans. I thought, and I expressed that belief at that time, that the National Firearms Act would be a proper way to balance the rights and responsibilities of Americans.
So the National Firearms Act would be enough?
I believe that the National Firearms Act would be enough.
Let me ask you this, because in the same hearing you continued, and this gets to the question that Senator Kennedy had for you, and I'm quoting you. Instead, we should regulate a broader class of firearms, including assault weapons manufactured before the law's enactment. One option would be to require the registration of all existing assault weapons under the National Firearms Act while banning the future manufacture and sale of these firearms. So in these statements, you're talking about expanding the National Firearms Act, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that would not be enforcing it as it is written. That would be a change of policy. And then
So see,
you
he's
would
backtracking.
ban the future manufacturer. That would be a change of policy. Banning the sale would be a change of policy. And in these statements, and going back to that hearing, you were referring to common semi-automatic firearms when you speak of assault weapons, correct?
Senator, in this hearing, I was acting as an advocate and was asked to propose solutions to complex problems.
And you
As
were
the direct-
referring to semi-automatic weapons, correct?
Yes, Senator, but
Yes,
as
thank you very
Director of
much.
AT...
Okay, Ms. Jadot, I'd like to ask you a question, please, ma'am. We are quite concerned.
So she goes on there to talk to someone else that's with this gentleman getting his Senate hearing. As I said, not someone that I would support personally to be the ATF because of his views on gun control. Anyway, guys, I've been on here just a minute. I'm going to take a quick restroom break, so we'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Fauci. We're also going to talk about troop withdrawals, and some of these other types of things, and got some weird, what I will call my weird section.
About
Oh,
some
sorry.
of the
So sit back, hang out right there with me. We'll be right back, guys. Give me just a few minutes to use the restroom, and I'll be right back. All right. We're back at it, guys. Hey, I told you we was going to come back with Fauci. Dr. Fauci. I shouldn't say Fauci. He's earned a title. He should be respected, right? That's right. Okay, Dr. Fauci. So last week he was also, this is going to be real short. We're not going to go into this one as much. We got so much other stuff to get to. Dr. Fauci was on testifying to Senate. And he ran into Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. And they had a very interesting exchange. For me personally, I found it interesting, and I've got questions. So let's see if we can't get this video to rolling. If I can. And this is about 5 minutes long, guys. And we'll get back on this because this Senate committee appearance appeared shortly after the news came out that the coronavirus, COVID-19, was possibly the result of the leak at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Okay, so let's watch this exchange here, and I want to talk because this one just kind of made me mad.
Chairwoman.
I like how cool he is.
Dr. Fauci, I believe you have testified that you didn't give any money to the Wuhan lab to conduct gain-of-function research. Is that
Okay, so let me clarify. Gain-of-function research is research done to increase or modify a virus, in this case, to become more lethal.
Fauci, I believe you have testified that you didn't give any money to the Wuhan lab to conduct gain-of-function research. Is that right?
That is correct.
How do you know they didn't lie to you?
Excuse me, sir?
Because we all know the Chinese government is going to tell us the truth the whole time.
How do you know they didn't lie to you and use the money for gain-of-function research anyway?
Well, we've seen the results of the experiments that were done and that were published, and that the viruses that they studied are.
Oh, so because they published some research notes and some research, they would never lie to us. They would never lie to us.
Are on public databases now.
Never.
So none of that was gain of function. So
How do you know they didn't do the research and not put it on their website?
there's no way of guaranteeing that, but in our experience with grantees, including Chinese grantees, which we've had interactions with for a very long period of time, they're very competent, trustworthy scientists. I'm not talking about anything else in China. I'm talking about the scientists that you would expect that they would abide by the conditions of the grant, which they've done for the years that we've had interactions.
So you don't think the Chinese would lie to you?
Okay, I'll catch your point right here real quick. He said, which they've done for years. And I only point this out because what does that mean? First of all, what the crap does that mean? We need to talk about this a minute. So for years, we have supported research in China. He didn't say how many years. It could be Trump, it could be Obama, Bush, Reagan, Clinton, who knows? But for years. See, if you guys aren't getting my point here, and we're going to finish this out, but if you're not catching what I'm saying, the United States government provides grant funding to this lab and many, many others, if you research it, many, many others, labs to conduct research. We are providing one of our major enemies money to research potential viruses they could then use on us. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, whatever. You need to see something wrong with that. If you don't see that's wrong, get your head on the table because that's wrong.
Well, when you say the Chinese are a rather broad group. I know the scientists that we've dealt with have been trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. You think all the scientists have told the truth in terms of the origin of the Wuhan virus and not been influenced by the Communist Party of China, do you?
I don't have enough insight into the Communist Party in China to know the interaction.
Tap dance time, Fauci.
Scientists.
Tap dance. No.
Why are we giving them money in the first place?
Well, that's a very good question, and thank you for.
That's a very good question. That is a great question, Senator Kennedy.
Well, SARS-CoV-1 started in China.
That's an
in
amazing
Guangdong
question.
Province, and it went from a bat to a civet cat to a human.
Yes, and excuse me, Doc, for interrupting you, but our time is so
Yeah,
limited.
no, I'm going to be real quick.
Our time is so limited. Why are we giving money to the labs in China to study virology?
Well, I'm going to give you a rather succinct answer to that,
I
sir.
appreciate that.
And
Yeah.
that's why I was saying the SARS-CoV-1.
We would
clearly
love
the
an answer.
bats that have the viruses, that are the coronaviruses, are in China, as I
Okay.
said a couple of times. It's not in Fairfax County, Virginia, or is it in New York? It's in China. So if you want to show and study, importantly,
So the only bats in Dr. Fauci's concept, the only bats that can carry this virus are China bats.
the animal-human interface,
Because that's where the bats are.
yeah, the
Okay.
bats,
I
that's
got
where
it.
the bats
I
are.
want to be sure I understand your testimony. You didn't give money to the Wuhan lab to do gain-of-function research,
That is correct.
and you believe they didn't do gain-of-function research because they told you they didn't.
We've seen the results of the studies that they conducted, and they were not.
Including
Oh,
any
they
private
told us.
studies.
Excuse me, including.
Any private studies.
I'm not sure what you're getting at, sir.
Well, here's what I'm getting at. You gave them money and you said, don't do gain-of-function research.
Correct.
And they said, we won't.
Correct.
We ain't going to. Oh,
And you have no way of knowing whether they did or not, except you trust them. Is that right?
Well, we generally always trust the grantee to do what they say, and you look at the results.
Have you ever had a grantee lie
can you sum it up? He said yes.
to you?
I cannot guarantee that a grantee has not lied to us because you never know.
Yeah. Can we agree that if you took President Xi Jinping and turned him upside down and shook him, the World Health Organization would fall out of his pocket?
Okay, so let me clarify. And I'm going to listen to this again because it's probably the funniest line on here. He is saying that China has the World Health Organization in their pocket. And by all indications, the World Health Organization has not done much. Matter of fact, this morning, they had a meeting at the World Health Organization and still refused to come to an agreement about investigating this. So let's listen to this again.
That if you took President Xi Jinping and turned him upside down and shook him, the World Health Organization would fall out of his pocket?
I don't think I can answer that question, sir.
It's so funny. Fauci thought it was
Do you
funny.
think that the President Xi Jinping has undue influence over the World Health Organization, do you?
I have no way of knowing the influence of the president of China over the WHO.
Okay, so you think the WHO is a completely independent body, level playing field, call it like you see it, and they really want to get to the bottom of the origin of the virus. Do you believe that?
My interaction with the WHO and for Dr. Tedros, the Director General, has been one.
Okay.
He did
but I
answer
do
the question.
believe He's a person of high degree of integrity.
I want to ask one last question. Why did you guys spike, not guys and ladies, why did y'all spike the prior administration's investigation into the origins?
I don't understand
of
what he
the
means,
coronavirus?
Spike. So I can't elaborate on that. I don't understand the point there. But I'll say this again. Why is the United States government providing China with research money? I have a problem with that. I have a huge problem with that person. And further news, if you didn't see this, but in addition to this COVID-19 virus, China has released information that now they have a human who has the bird flu. The first case of H1N1 bird flu. As I don't know that we can survive another major pandemic. Our country is just trying to recover at this point. Anyway, I'm going to get off that topic. Now I just kind of I don't have as much in depth on the next couple things. United States is on track to have 30% withdrawal. They're already saying that they're between 30 to 44%. So that's pretty good from Afghanistan. That's what CENTCOM is saying. I think that's good. Bring those troops home. I don't really understand the fight we have right now in Afghanistan still this day. I'm sure there is a need. I'm sure that there's been many evaluations. I just don't know it, but I was thankful to see that we have about 30% of those that were the number of troops that are there are back. It could be as high as 40. They're I don't understand that. Gap. Well, we can't give a more accurate number, but at least 30%. Naomi Osaka, guys, I think it's important. I mentioned this just a brief moment. Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the French Open and had a lot of things going on there, but she was concerned about her mental health stability. And being someone who has mental health challenges with PTSD and so forth, I think that this is going to maybe light a fire. I hope this lights a fire in mental health issue. I seen a report today on a Today Show about how there's a lot of NFL players now coming forward about mental health, and I seen that on the Williams sisters are supporting Naomi. I think that we as a society need to understand that the athletes who perform for us are people too. I think that we tend to abuse them and overdo it, be overbearing with it. I think that we need to understand that the struggles and challenges. And now, yeah, I understand that. Oh, don't feel sorry for them. I know somebody's going to say that, but I do, because although they make a lot of money, because they're professional players, they still have challenges. And heaven forbid anything was to happen to that young lady or any other athlete because of what the World Tennis Federation or Association is putting her under in requirements. I don't think I have grave concern that NBA, WTA, so on and so forth, any organization have concerns about their ability to tell these athletes what they can and can't do as far as media. I think that it's unfair. That's unfair. Okay, let's move on to a little lighter note before we get into some more heavier stuff. Did anybody see West Virginia? God bless West Virginia. And I say that because they made me smile today. God bless West Virginia. Now, so you know how all these states are providing rewards or incentives to get your COVID vaccination. Oh, West Virginia coming through, making me smile. So West Virginia is going to give away guns, trucks, and trips. Not money, guns, trucks, and trips. Only in West Virginia, but gosh, I love them, and I wish these are the moments when I wish I was a citizen of West Virginia. Maybe I could have got me a gun. Not one that's considered an assault rifle, however, a gun. We had to talk about that some more. Anyway, guys, I got to take a quick break. Something just came up. 30 seconds. Give me 1 minute. All right, guys, my apologies. Okay, let's continue on. Now, this is the point in time where I'm kind of going to get into some of the weird stuff because, well, not really. We're a little ways away from that. I've got some really weird clips that I was just like, that I wanted to share with you. What the heck is that? Heard a ding and don't know where the ding come from. I have a couple of issues here that just kind of, I don't understand. I don't understand our society, and I'm going to get into those. First of all, excuse me, firefighter, there was a shooting at a firehouse out in Los Angeles. Now, I say this, and I bring up this fact because you've not heard about it, people. You're not heard about it, okay? You hear about, these mass shootings, but listen, at one firefight, this goes back into some of the stuff I was talking about with Naomi Osaka. We each and every one of us have our own challenges in life. And one of the biggest things that ever occurred in my life, other than my children and my wife, was when I lowered down my defenses as the man figure and decided to receive therapy for my challenge. Turned my life around, made my life 10 times better. But there was a firefighter in Los Angeles. Details are still kind of coming forward on this. This happened yesterday, I think, or day before. Went into a firehouse in Aguay Dole and shot the captain and the chief. Now, and then he killed himself after he went home, set his house on fire, and killed himself in the backyard. I say this, and I don't know much about the story because there's kind of the evidence and the work is still coming forward. But I say this, it sounds like to me there was some beef there. And there was, I think, some challenges, and I don't like all of us have. So it just ties hand in hand with the Osaka, Naomi Osaka thing I was talking about is we've got to start as a nation realizing the mental health challenges. As the world, we need to realize those mental health challenges. Okay, so the next one, and it's kind of going the same thing. I want something that didn't even know it happened. I did not know this next event happened. It has not been on any major news channel that I saw. May have been, but not. But in San Francisco, there was a female police officer making patrol, doing her job by herself because there is such a shorthand on police officers in that area, so they're not in partner teams or solos. She was doing patrols, and she got attacked by someone she was questioning. I'm going to show you this video. To me, in this video, she does nothing wrong. And this is what happens. And then we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it a little more in depth after I get the video up. This is right there. This is just footage. It looks like to me it's from a CCTV, and it has audio. That's the best part for me. It has audio. So let's watch this video together.
Stop right there. Up. I'm gonna stop.
Turn around.
I don't have nothing.
Turn around. All the way around. Put your hands on top of your head. Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
I don't have no weapons.
She's being polite.
No weapons.
Okay. You want to put a cigarette on the ground for me?
I don't have no weapons.
Turn around. Face that way. Put your hand on your
She's putting on her gloves to protect herself. And bam. She called for help. Bystander comes in. Thank the Lord. I'm extremely thankful for those bystanders who came in and helped her. Gosh only knows what would have occurred. What would have occurred if they would not have been there. And now the rest of this video just simply shows help coming. There's other law enforcement officers coming in. I don't see anything that I think they're going to be sued about because that's how our world is. My point in showing this video, folks, is you didn't hear anything about it. It wasn't on the news. I didn't hear it on the news. I didn't see it on the news. Just a little bit here and there, but you didn't. That is an example of what our law enforcement folks face every day. So when we go to sue people and start talking about how they're racist and how they do this and do that, we maybe should think about what they face every day. I'm not going to get on a tangent about my theory about children and all that stuff, but that's what they face every day. She was doing her job. Respectfully asked the man to turn around and to put his hands behind his back and all that. And did nothing wrong, guys. My opinion, did nothing wrong. Okay. I just want to share that with you because we're awful quick to chastise our law enforcement officials for what they do wrong. Okay? Okay. Moving on. Have y'all heard about what's going on down in Texas? Now listen, folks, I lived in Texas for a long time in my life. And them people down there, the folks in Texas are just honest, hardworking, good-loving folk. They're going to do what they think is right, and that's it. They're going to do what they think is right. So Governor Abbott, and if you don't know who Governor Abbott is, that's Governor Abbott. That's Governor Abbott right there. Texas governor. So if you didn't hear about this, the Democrats walked out and in order to prevent a vote from going through so there wouldn't be a quorum. Hey, pretty smart move. It was a very it was effective because they didn't get to have the vote. But Governor Abbott, my man Governor Abbott, I shouldn't say my man. I just find this funny. Governor Abbott said, well, fine. Y'all gonna walk out? We ain't paying you. We ain't gonna pay you. You didn't do your job. Now, the argument is this, and I will argue the other side of it too. Well, did they do their job? They were sworn and elected to do the best thing by their constituents. Some could argue that they're doing their job. I just found it funny. Thought it was unique that Governor Abbott got involved. Ain't gonna pay you. Ain't doing your job. Ain't gonna pay you. Ain't y'all glad that some people around here don't do that? A lot of people be like, no, like, if you ain't doing your job, you wouldn't get paid. Well, a lot of people wouldn't get paid. Good news for some of y'all. Amazon has decided to change some policies. Amazon has decided, first of all, they decided that they're not going to test any longer for marijuana. For all you marijuana smokers who maybe didn't get hired by Amazon, go back and reply. The other one is the one that's concerning to me. I did not know this, but Amazon tracks their employees' breaks and all this, and tracks minutes and all this. I worked for a person who tried to do that in the past. It don't work, people. Don't work. It don't work. Amazon needs to wake up. All right. I think I got one or two more serious, and then we're going to go into the not so serious. Okay, the first one I want to hit on is this bill, the budget. I could talk all day on the Biden budget. I'm not going to. We may do that tomorrow, but the Biden budget bothers me. The Biden budget bothers me. Okay. I'm not going to talk about that. We may hit that tomorrow, but it tremendously concerns. But in the Biden budget, there is this infrastructure plan. And you know, some of y'all know this. The infrastructure plan started at this huge number, and Biden's administration came off the number, and then the Senate Republicans started really low, and they came off their number. So now there are talks going on, and now there is a, what is it, $928 billion proposed budget. That's the Republicans from, I think senators and representatives have come to that number. That's $928 billion. Now listen, that ain't no change. But the administration says, no, we want 1.7. Now they dropped down from their 2.25 trillion down to 1.7 trillion. And that's respect. That's respect. That's extremely respectable. Guys, come on, let's get along. This one should not be hard. You're talking about increasing broadband, fixing airports, rail, water. Y'all are arguing about little stuff. Get meet in the middle. Let's get this done. And I think they will. There's talks ongoing today about how to meet in the middle and how to get there, get to the middle. And I think we will. I think there's a good potential, good possibility. Okay, last serious one for the day, and then we're going to look at some really crazy stuff. And this one is more of a question. Why are we not having a commission on the January 6th? Now listen, and I'm blaming the Senate Republicans. Why can we not have a commission? Because we're dancing circles. I want to know what happened on the 6th of January. What are we afraid of? This commission may uncover or find. And I kind of agree with Mitt Romney, which I don't necessarily agree with Mitt Romney on a whole lot of things, but I think the Republican Party looks worse by not. I think it appears that we're trying to hide something, or the Republican Party is trying to hide something if we don't allow this commission. Well, come on, let's form a commission, let them do what they did with 9/11, research, investigate it, and let's move on. Let's move on. All right. Last serious stuff. We have a few of these that are just going to be, I'm going to blow your mind with some of these papers. The first one. Did anybody see that there is a Oregon teen who's in a hospital and she has severe burns and they had to do a tracheotomy. They had to 2 skin grafts, a surgery. And you know why? Because she saw a TikTok video on how to light on alcohol. All right, if there are any children out there, maybe some adults need to hear this. Don't be doing what you see on TikTok. Y'all crazy. Don't try those TikTok challenges because they're crazy. Now, I'll be honest with you, I like watching other people try them, but I don't want anybody to end up in the hospital with a tracheotomy and skin grafts, guys. Don't need it. Don't need it. All right. From the world of weird. See if I can find this guy's picture out. Have y'all heard about this bodybuilder who married his sex doll? Y'all heard this? I'll show y'all some pictures in a minute. He married his sex dolls, people. Now, first of all, he ain't no real bodybuilder to me. Get y'all on my screen here so you can see this is just pictures I come up. He married his sex doll. Look at this. There they are. There. What's wrong with the world? People, what is wrong with the world? Well, anyhow, this dude now says he might be open to dating real people. Dude, you need to be locked up. Come on. What was that? We need to be praying for people. Yeah. All right, I got to go to a Facebook article here. Hang on. Hold up. Make it. What's up?
Carla's really brave.
All right. WBIR in Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, for y'all people don't live up here where we from, we got a lot of bears. And they Bible show up anywhere. Well, this group of kids was having a graduation party. And the bears wanted to be invited. Watch this. The bears are like,
Courts, they're in the pool. Carla's really brave. She saved our food.
the bears are like, we coming where y'all wants to come or not. We coming to the party. My man right there like, ooh, it's a hot tub. Let's have us a hot tub. And the pool, look at them. 7 of them, I believe they said. 7 black bears. They could have ate them children in a heartbeat. A drink of water. My man right there, oh, this feels good. Take him a swim, watch. Going swimming. There ain't nothing wrong with enjoying a swimming pool, even if you're a black bear. That dude right there, he gone. He gone. Anyway, right there's the stuff we we deal with up here in Tennessee for y'all folk who don't know. That's stuff we deal with. Let me look at my notes because I know what the last thing I got for you is, I think. Got one more thing for you. Take us an hour and a half. That's what I'm trying to get at. Hour and a half. We're going to expand as we go. All right. Now, I'm fixing to show you something that's old. This was on Fox News. Folks, I couldn't hardly breathe the first time I watched it. I really couldn't. I couldn't hardly believe. I couldn't breathe. It's 5 minutes. This is funny. This is funny. Y'all know who this dude is. Got right up here. Geraldo Rivera. Watch what happened.
Shocking and outrageous to me that in all the discussions of what's happening in Israel, the fact that Palestinians are being killed at the rate of 15 or 20 times the death toll among the Israelis, including children, is absolutely
Geraldo,
wait for it.
Let me stop you.
It is abhorrent to me.
Wait for it.
The Palestinians
how
are
about
digging
they
themselves
stop?
out from
How
under
about
the collapse of their buildings?
How
Geraldo
about
wouldn't
the
listen.
terrorist organization Hamas stop firing those rockets from hospitals and schools and densely populated areas?
Why don't we?
Because they're the ones that fired first.
Because I
If
ain't here to
American
argue any of
City
these
got
points.
hurt, it would be.
I want y'all to
all
watch Geraldo. If y'all ain't
America,
seen this, y'all
all
fix to
hands
enjoy
on deck. And if
my
innocent
present for you
people
today.
die, you blame the people that start
There
the
are
war.
dozens of Palestinian children dead. There are dozens of Palestinian
And whose
children
fault
dead
is that?
with
Whose fault is that?
ammunition provided to Israel by the United States without even a
Geraldo,
demand for a
whose
ceasefire.
fault
I
is
demand
that?
a ceasefire. I demand
I demand that Israel win the war. Israel needs to win the war against terrorism
By what?
and
Killing all the
terrorists
Palestinians?
that are
We're gonna kill
firing
all the
rockets at their
Palestinians.
people.
Let's kill them
Dan
all.
Bongino.
Let's kill all these children.
Dan.
Geraldo, you do this every time.
Here you
This
go.
is such garbage, and I'm really getting sick of it. You play this emotional game with the audience and use your position of
Get ready for it.
responsibility to put out misinformation and
stop
BS.
attacking
you did it
me,
on the
punk.
police thing.
Address
where
the
you
issue.
did it,
Do you have the guts
did
to
it
address
on the
the issue
police thing
and not
again.
address?
This
This
is
is
not
not
about
about me.
Can you?
You didn't come
Ever.
on this show
You
to
can't
attack
control
me.
yourself.
You came on
No,
the
it
show
is
to talk about
you,
the issue.
Because again,
do you have a point about
you're
the
using
issue?
your position of authority
I'm sick of you,
here
Bongino.
to
I'm
say
sick of
things
you.
that
You're a
are
punk.
absolutely
You're a punk.
outrageous.
Geraldo,
You're
let
an
him talk.
uncontrolled lunatic.
Geraldo,
I'm sorry.
let him talk.
Okay, so for edification, this is Bongino. I forget his first name. And this is Geraldo. These guys have been feud forever. After this is over and after I get done, go on YouTube and search Bongino Geraldo. Fight like cats and dogs. Watch it.
Because you can't go on the air.
I'm an out of
Can
control
you calm
lunatic.
down? Yeah, you really
I'm a
need to calm
10-time
down.
Emmy winner
Maybe
with
try
deep
a
experience
meditation
in the
app or
Middle East.
something.
All right,
Have you
guys,
ever even
okay.
been there?
All right,
Have you
I
ever
want to
even
make
been
my
there?
point, Sean.
I've covered
Sean,
every war
I
since
want to make my point when he
1973.
stops talking.
Geraldo,
When he
let him
stops
talk.
talking, I do have a point. to
If your
make.
point
Okay,
is
thank
about
you. I
me, I'm not
appreciate
going to
that.
stop. If your point's going to be about me, I'm not going to stop.
Geraldo Rivera does not understand that Hamas doesn't believe in Israel's
Watch this,
right
watch
to
it.
exist.
Watch Geraldo.
Hamas wants the
This right here's
Jews
funny. Watch it.
dead. And what does he do? The same thing with the police issue. He makes this
Geraldo turned his back to him. Geraldo said, I ain't listening no more. He turned his back to them, folks.
an emotional thing, and he says the Palestinian children. Of course we care about Palestinian children. You know the way we save Palestinian
What kind of children? He said Palestinian.
thing, and he says the Palestinian children. Of course we care about Palestinian children.
Palestinian. Is that the way to say it? I may be wrong, but I don't think so.
You know the way we save
Yeah, I haven't heard
Palestinian
you say
children
it.
is
I haven't
we
heard you say it.
incentivize the terror group Hamas to not fire rockets indiscriminately into Israel, and it would stop immediately. Your debate on you are so misinformed on this. It's pathetic. It's a bloodthirsty, savage.
Let me
terror
calm the
group
waters here.
committed
Let
to
me
the extinction of Israel.
guys. Geraldo, let me
May I
calm the water.
respond?
Geraldo, let me calm the waters here. Geraldo, who started this war? who started firing the rockets.
It ain't over.
And who's firing them.
Where do you want to go? You want to go back to
and who's firing
1948,
them
1967, 1973?
You want to go back to the
Where
48
do you want
peace
to go back to?
partition, the 67, 73
history
war.
start?
And yes,
Where
I've
does
been
this
to
history
Israel.
start?
I've been to you know what? I've been to the border
I've
with
covered
Gaza.
every war since
And let me tell you
1973
something.
until 2012.
Kids
I was there
can't
when they
play
put the Iron Dome
in
missile
an
system in.
outdoor playground because they can't get in a bunker. They play in indoor bunker playgrounds. I've seen the rockets, 10,000 in one city in 10 years.
A Palestinian
Hannity getting mad now. Watch him.
exactly equal to
Hannity
a
getting
Israeli
mad.
life or an American life.
Who do you blame for firing the rockets first? Who do you blame for firing it from densely populated areas and hospitals
This
and
started.
schools?
This current chapter of this ongoing violence started when Israeli cops raided the Aqsa Mosque in the old city of Jerusalem.
Come on.
It is one of the most
You're
sacred.
just
It is one of the
lying.
most sacred places.
You don't know what you're
It is
talking
one of the
about.
most
Oh,
sacred
man.
places in the. Listen to this guy. This guy doesn't. Have you ever been? Have you been at war? Have you
I've been
at
there
war
many
at all?
times.
Have you?
I'm showing video of me there.
No, but you haven't either. That's the interesting thing.
I have been there multiple times. That tunnel right
Now-
there, that was built
now
with
Hanny's
Israeli and
fighting with
American money and cement.
Johnny
and
or
that's
whatever his name
that's-
is.
That cement was meant for hospitals and schools, guys.
Oh, dude.
That cement right there. 60 feet underground tunnels so that these terrorists can sneak in the dark of the night and kill Israelis and commit
Why
acts
don't
of
you
terror.
ever show the dead Palestinian
He
children?
doesn't-
Why don't you ever
Sean,
show the
he
video of the
doesn't
dead
even
Palestinian
Because if
children?
I ever
Hold
step
on.
foot
Because they don't
in
count.
Gaza, I'd be dead.
They don't count. It's like they don't
Geraldo,
exist.
You don't even understand
The
the
Palestinian
history
children
here.
are
This is
being killed and they
embarrassing.
don't exist.
You-
Demand a
Geraldo,
ceasefire.
You don't even
I demand a
understand your own
ceasefire.
history.
Anyway, like I said, guys, go look up Geraldo versus Benigno or whatever the heck his name is. It's hilarious. Guys, hey, I've had a great time today. I hope you had a great time. Much love. We appreciate y'all. Until we see you tomorrow around 12:30, we'll be back then. Hope you have a great day. Guys, we love you. We're praying for you. We hope that your life is blessed today as it can be. And until tomorrow, we'll say much love, deuces. We'll catch y'all on the other side.